Parliamentary reporters, dictation number 20 at the speed of 140 words per minute. From Kailash Chandra shortened transcription number 196. Last 5 seconds. Ready? Start. Then sir, I would come to the question of food grains, which is very important. Now sir, these food grains imports went on, and as you know, 1 million tons of food grains cost us roughly about rupees 50 crores. In the second 5-year plan period, even we envisage 6 million tons of food grains being imported, and you can easily understand how much money it would cost. Every year we are losing so much foreign exchange because the food production does not measure up to the needs of our country. Today, sir, one should have thought that the government should make much more vigorous efforts to increase the food production, and for this purpose it is absolutely essential to go into the question of land reforms. Unless and until land is distributed among the peasants, especially among the poorer sections of agricultural laborers and peasants, you can never turn the corner. We have seen how in China, in a matter of few years, they have been able to solve the food problem, and there is no difficulty with regard to foreign exchange there. We should have been a self-sufficient country by 1951, according to the Prime Minister. But we are in the darkness, and there is no knowing as to when India is going to be self-sufficient. Our main manpower and other resources are so abundant that it is quite possible, by a little reorganization of our agricultural and land relations, that we can turn the corner. Here again, sir, we are losing. Therefore, sir, the foreign exchange position has to be viewed from the angle of our entire economy. The crisis today has come about in that way. Then again, sir, our balance of payments position has been deteriorating year after year. It is no use trying to tell that it is not so. It is no use trying to point to a particular year when our balance of payments position had slightly improved. Everyone knows what is our balance of payments position. Therefore, sir, I think that in all spheres the government's policies stand condemned and indicted by the people. Therefore, a very drastic change is necessary in the government's policies. Now, sir, I would like to make a few suggestions. I know the difficulty that is there, but there should not be any panic about it. No quarter should be given to the slogan. Then, sir, with regard to sterling balance, there is another problem. I need not give any figures, but I only submit to the House that I do not think that it is essential to tie the Indian rupee to the sterling, nor do we require any currency reserve of that kind. Mr. V.K.R.V. Rao, the Vice Chancellor of the Delhi University, I am told, has expressed the same view. And since our rupee is fairly stable, since India has a developed economy, since our credit worthiness in the markets of the world is not bad, why must we tie our rupee to the sterling and rupee and require this kind of currency reserve? I do not see any need at all for maintaining a sterling reserve. Many countries do not need such reserves and do not keep such reserves. Even today, why must we do that? Then, sir, some change is necessary in our exchange banking system so that financing of our foreign trade could be done in a manner which conforms to the Indian interests and helps in augmenting our foreign exchange resources. In that connection, sir, I would particularly stress the need for breaking monopolies in the matter of foreign trade, to which I had earlier referred. Today it is essential for tourism to give proper direction to our trade, to change its pattern and to adjust our trade according to the needs and the requirements of our economy. At the same time, we should try to develop our trade with those countries where such trade remains with the state sector in the socialist countries. Malpractices of all kinds should be checked. Then, sir, remittances of profits abroad should be restricted, if not altogether stopped. Every time that we make this suggestion, we are told that that will frighten away the foreign investor. We do not want other capitalists from abroad should come and invest money in our economy and exploit cheap labor and make profits. All that we want is that loans should be obtained, if possible, at the government to government level so that we can meet the needs of our economy. That is how things should be viewed. Therefore, I say that we can certainly stop these remittances abroad and turn them to the use of the nation for developing our country's economy. After all, economic reconstruction of Egypt is not paralyzed and broken because President Nasser has taken over the Suez Canal. We have the example of Egypt, which by nationalizing the Suez Canal and inflicting a blow upon the British and French interests, has assured the rapid development of her economy. I rise to give my humble support to the Honorable Minister's bill to give effect to the financial proposals of the central government for the financial year 1987-88 as passed by the Lok Sabha. It strains the common man's purse to the utmost limits and leaves him hardly any margin. But generally speaking, as a people, we have agreed to suffer and sacrifice for the sake of the nation's future. Its future, we all know, depends upon the success of the seventh five-year plan, and recognizing this, we would ask that the government does not extend any quarter to any question of pruning the plan or lowering our targets in any direction. Whatever is necessary should be done to curtail our imports to the minimum, to increase our exports to the maximum, put an end to corruption, and curb all antisocial elements. If the people are asked to pay, they have certainly the right to ask of the government that they should see that every paisa they are going to pay is utilized carefully, creatively, and productively. One cannot, it is obvious, respond to all questions that the finance bill raises in one's mind. I would therefore be content to refer to a few points in respect of two ministries alone: the Ministry of Human Resources Development and the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. I do not see any of the representatives of these two ministries on the Treasury benches, but I hope my comments and suggestions will be passed on to them. First, I would take the Ministry of Human Resources Development. I know I would be told at the very outset that education is a transferred subject and the main responsibility lies with the states. But at the same time, is it not true that the center issues directives from time to time, and these directives go a long way in determining the policy and programs of the states in respect of education? How does it work? In recent years, it has been a very kind and generous practice of the central government through the University Grants Commission and also directly to offer matching grants to the states, and the states fall in line with the policy and programs of the central government. In respect of the reports of the commissions, the state governments have to fall in line. My first point is in respect of dearth of teachers. I know these are very humble things in which this house may not feel interested, but I would request their indulgence for a while. The other day, the Deputy Minister, Dr. Das, confessed that there is a great dearth of teachers in respect of scientific and technological institutions. I don't know if the ministry knows that there is an equal, if not greater, dearth of teachers not only in the colleges but also in the universities as well as in the schools. The teaching profession somehow or other has reached a stage in which better type of people are not attracted to the profession. Obviously, the lower scales of pay is the biggest reason, but there are other reasons besides. In the humanities side also it is very difficult to find first class men. I don't know if the ministry is aware that not only in West Bengal but in the bigger states of Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra as well as in some of the major universities of UP, there are many colleges where it has become extremely difficult to fill up vacancies. We go in for first class men, we cannot get them in certain subjects. I am not talking of science in which first class men are not available at all. Even before the results are published, they are recruited by big businessmen and also by the government. The government and the big businessmen are indeed the stiffest competitors in this direction. In the humanities side, it is practically impossible to really get a first class man in economics or in English or in history or in political science. I know most of the colleges in Calcutta, and I would give you one example of the government college in West Bengal. There were 6 vacancies running for one full year and they could not fill them because of dearth of teachers. I sometimes sit as expert in public service commissions and I have seen that advertisements go on running for 3 or 4 months and there is hardly any response. In the schools also there is a great dearth of teachers for more reasons than I can count. There is hardly any time. I believe the time has come when the Parliament and the Department of Education should give some thought to this aspect of the question. Don't we realize for a moment that the very source is drying up? The other day, perhaps it slipped out of the tongue of the minister in the Ministry of Human Resources Development that they are not encouraging higher education. Stop.